All right, so I got my opponent out here. He's going to shoot some groups in the wind just to see if his rifle shoots this AAC ammo any better than what my rifle did. Again, it's super windy today. It's 40-something degrees, and it's a really hard right to left. So I'm not saying it's a disaster, the groups that I shot today, but it's definitely not ideal conditions. So we'll see. I'm probably going to stick with my reloads, though. Alright, so we have a couple different types of ammo to try out from AAC, America's Ammunition Company. We have 77 grain open tip match OTMs, 5.56 caliber, and 75 grain. So we're going to perform some different tests with this ammo. They're both rated for 2,700 feet per second, and we're going to shoot it out of a 20-inch barrel. And what we're going to do is weigh each round, so that way we can kind of see like what the variances are. We're going to measure from base to ogive, ogive, however you say it, for consistency to see how consistent the ammo is. And then we're going to shoot it for velocity. Everything's going to be tracked. Everything's going to be numerical, and we're going to get some data points. So we'll see how accurate it is, how consistent it is, and if it's the right ammo. Why am I making this video? I've been reloading forever, and the cost of reloading has skyrocketed. I remember when primers were $30 a thousand, the good old days. So everything's changed, everything's expensive. So if I can get factory ammo that's consistent for around 60 cents a round, it's time to make, a change. So that's the whole point of this video, to see if this factory ammo is good enough to compete against my reloads for the same cost. So what's my savings? Time, which is important. So stay tuned, and we'll see what we come up with. All right, so I just want to give like a quick rundown on my rifle. So this has been a work in progress, not this past season, but the season prior. So 2023, I was running a 16-inch black hole weaponry barrel. It had the caudal rifling, so it had 3 lands in it. And I want a little bit more velocity and a little bit more accuracy. And, I try to do things on a working man's budget, right? So that wasn't working out. Rolled the dice on a Ballistic Advantage 20-inch DMR profile barrel. And this thing has been phenomenal. I'm getting really good velocity out of it. And I'm getting really good accuracy, right? So the heart of the rifle is really the accuracy. That's what matters, right? The barrel. So I'm using a PVA Jet Blast muzzle brake. This was after each match, they draw tickets and they put things on the prize table. So I won this Jet Blast muzzle brake, and it's been really good. I like the weight of it, and I also like the recoil reduction. And it's not loud for the shooter. I'm using a 17-inch IWI Arca rail. This thing has been awesome. IWI products are excellent. They're also, the main sponsor of the series. So it's not just a gun manufacturer, but they also give back. So their quality of this stuff and the components that they choose are top notch. I'm using a Bushnell DMR 3.5 to 21 scope. I've been using this thing for a couple years. Really happy with it. This was actually a replacement if you watched some of my earlier videos. Always have a bubble level. Bubbles never fail. Batteries do. 2 is 1, right? So maybe down the road I'll upgrade to an electronic. I'm using ARMS 34 millimeter scope mounts, old school. Sharpie timing marks on everything in case something changes, but this has been fantastic. This is a PRI riser, so I have enough gap between here, otherwise the scope was touching the rail, so a little bit of a rise. To compensate for that, I got my MagPul PRS Lite stock. This thing's adjusted for my eye relief and my cheek well. I guess I have like a relatively high cheek, but the whole system's been working really well for me. MDT grip, really like these grips a lot, and I'm using the Geisley National Match trigger, and it's tuned right where I need it, and really happy with the system. Old school Harris bipod, Area 419 bipod adapter, and I got the KMW swivel, so it's been a really solid setup for me. And I don't want to forget, this is a Superlative Arms gas piston. Basically every rifle that I shoot is gas piston. You can run the bolt, 500 rounds, 1,000 rounds, and it's still clean, cool, and it doesn't mess with the accuracy at all. So, really, really happy with this rig. But that's it. So let's get to shooting. Okay, so I sorted all the boxes. I have all 40 rounds of my 77s in here. Everything's in numerical order. So what I'm going to do is pluck out my 77 grain weights and my 77 grain lengths. I'm going to pull those out separate and get individual velocities for those. And then everything else is pretty much going to be in numerical order, and I'll populate my Excel spreadsheet. So here we go. You can really see how much the wind is blowing the target. So we're going to do the best that we can. Wow. All right, so if you take a look at this target, this was the 77s. The upper right-hand corner is my reloads, and you can see it's pretty accurate. It was windy. It was super windy. But the rest of the groups, I mean, like, there's not a lot of horizontal dispersion. There's a lot of vertical. The third group from the right, that seemed kind of promising because there was a good cluster. And the bottom left group seemed like it was kind of promising, but I don't know. I don't want to say there was flyers. Kind of like disheartened that it wasn't the right ammo for my rifle, but that's it. Recap of the 77s. All right, so here's a recap of the 75 grain. And again, like the groups weren't stellar. You can see between the 77s and the 75s, they were all around 2 inches. But the bottom left target is my reloads, right? So I shot my first group in the morning, and then I shot a group just to kind of like tie things together. And you can see like I have a decent cluster. I don't know if it was just super windy, but you know, just it might have been a brutal day. So maybe in the springtime I'll give this ammo another chance. But right now I'm just going to keep with my normal recipe.